In the soft golden light, the clinking of wine glasses, the refined laughter of wealthy businessmen, politicians, and celebrities filled the air, creating a symphony of power and privilege. Ethan Reynolds walked in with the confidence of a man accustomed to luxury. His tailored suit fit perfectly, his Swiss watch gleamed under the chandelier, and every step he took exuded the aura of someone who had everything: money, fame, and a stunning woman by his side. Olivia Harper, his new girlfriend, clung to his arm proudly. A well-known model, her golden hair cascaded effortlessly over her shoulders, and her red lips curled into a seductive smile. To Olivia, no man was more desirable than Ethan. A man who could take her anywhere, elevate her status, and make her the center of attention. A waiter promptly escorted them to a VIP table, reserved for only the most elite guests. Olivia reveled in the envious glances from other women, while Ethan simply pulled out her chair with the nonchalance of a man who had done this countless times before. To him, this was just another lavish dinner, one of many. But then, one moment changed everything. Across the restaurant, seated alone at a quiet table, was Emma Carter, the woman he had once loved more than anything. Ethan and Emma had once been the perfect couple, admired by everyone. They had fallen in love when he was still just an ambitious young man, working tirelessly to build his empire. Back then, Emma had been the woman who stood by his side, supporting him unconditionally. She never cared about designer dresses, extravagant parties, or expensive gifts. The only thing she ever wanted was for Ethan to make time for her, for their family. But Ethan had failed her. The more successful he became, the further he drifted from her. Work, meetings, billion-dollar deals consumed his life. The dinners Emma once lovingly prepared turned cold as he came home late. Anniversaries were forgotten. Conversations became shorter, until they were nothing more than two strangers living under the same roof. Their marriage crumbled. One day, Emma packed her bags and left. No tears, no accusations. Just one final sentence. "Ethan, you love your work more than you love me. And I can't keep living like a ghost in your life." The door closed, and Ethan let her go. He had convinced himself that he could move on, that throwing himself into work, finding a new woman, would fill the emptiness inside him. But now, seeing her again, every buried emotion came crashing back, stronger than ever. Ethan couldn't take his eyes off her, but what truly made his heart stop was the undeniable swell of her stomach. Emma was pregnant. At that moment, the world around him faded. No laughter, no music, just the deafening sound of his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. It felt like a punch to the gut. Before he could stop himself, Ethan shot to his feet. Olivia frowned. "Ethan, what's going on?" He didn't answer. He simply walked straight toward Emma, leaving Olivia behind. Emma looked up, and for a brief second, their eyes met. In her gentle brown eyes, there was no anger or blame, only pain and hesitation. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice trembling. He looked at her, then at her stomach. "Are you pregnant?" His voice was hoarse, as if he could not believe the words coming out of his own mouth. Emma bit her lip. She had known this moment would come, but she never expected it to be this soon. "This has nothing to do with you," she said, attempting to stand and leave. But Ethan was not going to let her go that easily. He stepped in front of her, his eyes dark and intense. "Emma, do not tell me." He took a deep breath. "The baby is mine." Her silence was the clearest answer. Ethan felt like he could not breathe. She had left him, and now, she was carrying their child, and he had no idea. Why did she not tell him? Why had she tried to hide this from him? 1,000 questions swirled through his mind, but before he could say another word, a cold voice cut through the tension behind him. "Ethan, what is going on?" "Olivia." Ethan closed his eyes for a second, trying to steady himself. He was in the middle of a situation he never thought he would have to face. And now he had a choice to make: continue running from the past, or face his responsibility. But looking at Emma, at the child she was carrying, Ethan knew one thing for certain. This time he would not let her walk away. Ethan stood face to face with Emma, his gaze locked onto her like he had just uncovered a life-changing secret. His breathing was heavy, his mind racing with one overwhelming question. Why did she not tell him? Emma swallowed hard. She could see the fury beneath the sharp intensity of Ethan's eyes. But more than anger, she saw something deeper, pain. A pain he had never allowed himself to show before. Olivia, the stunning woman at Ethan's side, crossed her arms, staring at them both with a mixture of confusion and irritation. "What the hell is going on here, Ethan?" Olivia snapped. Ethan did not take his eyes off Emma. His voice was rough. "The baby, it is mine, isn't it?" Emma gripped the hem of her dress, her entire body tensing like a coiled spring. She did not want to have this conversation here, not in front of Olivia, not under the watchful eyes of an elite restaurant crowd. "Not now, Ethan," she murmured, her eyes pleading with him to let her go. But Ethan was not backing down. He had already lost her once. He would not let it happen again. Ethan remembered the months after Emma had left him. He had tried to convince himself that their marriage had been a mistake, that he did not need her. But every night, he lay awake in his empty penthouse, haunted by the little things he used to take for granted. The way she laughed at silly movies, the way she rested her head on his shoulder when she was tired, the way she always knew exactly when he was hiding his emotions. Ethan had never admitted to anyone that there were nights when he reached out instinctively, only to realize the bed had been cold for a long time. He had lost Emma, and now, standing before her, he realized he had almost lost their child too. His voice softened to a near whisper, filled with something close to desperation. "Emma, tell me the truth." Emma's heart tightened. She had wanted to tell Ethan. When she found out she was pregnant, she had stood outside his office door, her hands trembling on the handle. But when she saw him inside, completely absorbed in yet another business meeting, completely unaware of her presence, she had turned around and walked away. Emma could not let her child grow up in the coldness that Ethan had shown her all those years. She did not want her child to be just another piece in a world where work, money, and power always came first. So, she had chosen to raise the baby on her own. But now, standing before Ethan, she realized he knew. And deep inside, she feared that this time, he would not let her walk away. Olivia could no longer stand the silence between them. "All right, someone explain to me what is going on," she demanded, drawing the attention of those around them. Ethan turned to face her, his blue eyes flashing with intensity. "Olivia," his voice was deep and firm, carrying undeniable authority. "We will talk later." Olivia's eyes widened, shocked by his response. "What do you mean? I am your girlfriend. I have a right to know what this is." Emma closed her eyes, feeling herself being pulled into a situation she never wanted. "There is nothing to say," she spoke calmly, though her tone was distant. "Ethan, do not make a scene here. I do not want trouble." Ethan clenched his jaw. "You think you can just walk away again like last time?" Emma felt her chest tighten. This time, Ethan was not going to let her run. Emma tried to leave, but Ethan stepped in front of her at the restaurant entrance. "We cannot talk about this here, Ethan," she said, struggling to remain composed. He did not respond. Instead, he took off his coat and gently draped it over her shoulders. The rain had started to fall. Behind them, Olivia stood motionless, her expression a mixture of anger and heartbreak. "He still loves you, doesn't he?" Olivia whispered, just loud enough for Emma to hear. Emma did not answer, because even she was not sure what Ethan was feeling. But the one thing she knew at that moment was that she could not hide the truth any longer. Ethan looked at Emma, his voice dropping lower, no longer filled with anger, but something more raw. "I was wrong, Emma." She looked up at him, startled by the admission. "I let you walk away without fighting for you. I let work consume me instead of protecting my family." He paused, his eyes filled with an emotion Emma could not quite decipher. "But this time, I will not let you go." Emma felt a sharp ache in her chest. "Ethan, it is too late," she whispered. He shook his head. "No, it is never too late to make things right." A cold wind blew past. The rain was falling harder now. Emma looked at the man standing before her. The man she had once loved more than anything. Could Ethan truly change? Or was it already too late to turn back? Emma had once been his entire world. And now, she stood before him, carrying their child, yet looking at him like a stranger. Ethan could not accept that. Olivia crossed her arms, her red lips pressed into a thin line. She had seen enough. She had never truly had Ethan. "So that is it." Olivia let out a small, bitter laugh. though the pain in her eyes was unmistakable. "I was just a replacement, wasn't I?" Ethan did not answer. He did not need to. The truth was clear. Olivia took a deep breath, then shook her head. "I am not the kind of woman who begs for a man's love. Good luck to you both." And with one last smile, the smile of someone who had lost but still kept her pride, Olivia turned and walked away. Emma watched Olivia leave, feeling a flicker of empathy. She knew what it was like to love someone and yet be unable to hold on to their heart. But that did not change the reality. She and Ethan had ended long ago. "Ethan, I really have to go," she whispered. Ethan clenched his fists. "No, Emma. You cannot just walk away. I need to know the truth. I need to know everything." Emma met his gaze, part of her wanting to run, but another part wanting to stay, wanting to believe that Ethan could change. But could he? Ethan drove Emma home to her small apartment. It was simple, a stark contrast to the life they once shared. A worn-out sofa, a few old family photos on the shelf, and neatly folded baby clothes stacked on the table. Ethan felt his chest tighten at the undeniable evidence of the life he had missed. How much had he lost? Taking a deep breath, he asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" Emma placed a hand over her belly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ethan, I did not want our child to grow up in a home where their father put work above everything else." Ethan frowned. "Do you think I would be a bad father?" Emma looked into his eyes. "No, but you have never put family first." Her words hit Ethan like a blow. He remembered the late nights at the office, the forgotten anniversaries, the way Emma would silently watch him, disappointed but never saying a word. He had failed her, but this time he would not fail their child. "I can change," Ethan said, his voice unwavering. Emma let out a soft, bittersweet laugh. "How many times have you said that before, Ethan?" He stepped closer, his eyes pleading. "I never truly understood it until now. But Emma, give me a chance to prove it to you." Emma shook her head. "Ethan, I do not want my child growing up with a father who is only present in name. Then I won't be that man." Ethan's voice was resolute. Emma hesitated. Ethan reached for her hand, gently placing it over her belly. "Emma, this is not just about you or me anymore. This is about us. This is about our child." A single tear rolled down Emma's cheek. Time passed, and Ethan did not just talk, he proved it. He stepped back from his overwhelming workload, delegating responsibilities so he could be there for Emma and their unborn child. He attended every prenatal checkup, listening in awe to their baby's heartbeat for the first time. He learned to cook the meals Emma loved instead of just sending expensive gifts. He moved out of his cold, luxurious penthouse into a smaller, warmer home, one where he was no longer coming home to nothing. He chose family over career. And for the first time, Emma believed Ethan had truly changed. When their baby was born, Ethan was in the delivery room, holding Emma's hand, whispering in her ear, "Thank you for giving me a chance to make things right." Emma looked down at their child, then up at Ethan. She smiled. "Let's raise our baby together. This time the right way." And they did. Money can never replace presence. Ethan had everything, but he only realized what truly mattered when he almost lost his family. Love must be proven through actions, not just words. Ethan had said it too many times before, but only when he showed it did Emma believe him. It is never too late to fix past mistakes. Ethan had hurt Emma, but when he realized his errors and truly worked to fix them, he was given a second chance. A happy family is not about perfection but commitment. No one is perfect, but when two people commit to each other, they can build a real home together. If you were Emma, would you forgive Ethan? If you were Ethan, how would you prove you have truly changed? Have you ever had to choose between love and career? Share your thoughts in the comments. And do not forget to like and subscribe for more emotional stories.